All right, we are live, and shall we play your intro?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. There you go.
That was so fun. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
You really want to do it again? We can do it again. It's very short. It used to be like a minute, and I was like, no one's gonna wait a whole minute for this to end. But all right, here we go. We were talking about hunting prior to the thing, and I legitimately want to keep talking about it. I really do want to keep talking.
This is about your three favorite.
This is about your three favorite movies, and none of them. Well, which isn't that weird? None of them involve hunting, but God, yeah, I very much would love to. Well, basically, I was asking a couple people. I was just telling people about how much I have gotten into it, and the very, like you said, like one of the things about COVID is because in LA we have this thing called Instacart. I don't know if you guys have it too, where everyone is, you basically shop groceries for people, and I love shopping for groceries.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy it, so it's very funny. Like, I like doing this. So that's how I've been basically generating money since my gigs died down.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but then there's this part of me that's like, I've had this conversation with lots of people where, like, we'll be eating meat and they'll be like, "Oh, it's got a bone. I don't like it when it has a bone." Or like I'll get fish and then it's like, "Oh, I can't look at it because it's got the head on." And I'm like, "Where do you think this came from?" Like, don't. And then I went vegan at the beginning of the year. It wasn't really vegan. I did the body challenge. So I did the nuts, fruits, vegetables thing, and then after 5 weeks,
with Georgia Watson,
with Georgia, and I actually have gotten a ton of awareness.
Yeah.
But at the end of the 5 weeks, my body's like, okay, you know what I miss?
Meat.
It's a big sunken slab of meat. So then it became this, like, and I just know lots of people who do the vegetarian and the vegan thing, which is like, that's fine, like that's fine. But I also know too many people who eat meat, and it's like, or too many people who eat meat who don't understand the energetic exchange and don't. It's like, look, a life was taken to provide this for you, and you don't want to look at it. And as someone who loves meat so much, I was like, I need this experience. And so I was talking to Rebecca about it, and she was like, you should talk to.
Did she say me?
Absolutely.
I adore Rebecca.
And it made me so happy because I was like, oh, if there is anyone who would help me pop my my hunting cherry that I'd want to be around, it's basically you or Steven Ranella.
Well, we have actually talked about this before, which is interesting a little bit.
Was I wanting to do it, or was I just more curious about it?
I think you were more curious. I think you looked at some of my profile pictures. And,
totally. Oh, that's exactly what happened.
And then maybe you had no idea, because it's actually not something I always talk about unless somebody asks me a question.
Yeah.
Because it is a very judgmental.
Yeah.
And there's lots of point of views.
Totally.
Around hunting.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware of that. And I'm just very aware of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you're aware and amazing, and I'm super grateful to have you here.
Thank you.
Shall we talk about your three favorite movies?
Yeah, we can talk. And you know what's funny? When you asked me about my three favorite movies, I was looking at like my three like all-time favorite. Because I think I have like a lot of movies that are pretty cool, but like those, you have those moments in your life that really stand out for you. And so the three I picked actually were like time stamped or something. Like there's just something about those movies for me.
Well, you pick. Well, do you want to talk about Grease?
I loved Grease.
Okay, so why is Grease one of your three favorite movies? For what reason?
Well, oh gosh. Well, it was like I was like, hey, like, can I have that? I remember, I think like I was only in grade school, and that was like, high school was like a big deal, and that was like a dream. Like, isn't that like Like, and is it almost like the Disney movie? But like this is like the super sexy kind of like hot bad boy,
right, with music.
Prince.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and okay, yeah.
So I mean, I think like that's what that like there's this thing like I do research, and then there's this thing with research like when you can transport somebody somewhere, right? Like there's this and it's with feelings. So like feelings, like if well, it didn't know what it is. So like people have like something, and if it can take them someplace else, like they'll buy it or they'll never forget it. So like in music and songs, like I still listen to some of like the Grease songs. So there's something that like in that movie that is able to like it just it does it. It works. So like how much were we like manipulated with that movie? But it worked.
Well, that's all movies on one level. I saw an incredible. Well, it makes me laugh so hard when you said when, especially with Grease. Oh, by the way, it's landmark. This is a moment for me in the of this young podcast, fledgling podcast.
Oh.
This is the first time I've had a guest where I didn't have to watch any of their movies because I've seen them before a bunch of times. So I was like, oh, let's get on it.
Pretty good.
like, oh, good. I've seen those. Some of them I'm like, wait, what? What is that? Have
yeah.
But with Grease, it makes me laugh because I got a buddy. He was my best friend in grade school, and he was the best football player in our class. Like, just, I mean, so fast, so good at it. I mean, and plus he was the oldest son of 3 brothers, and his father was the oldest son of like 10 brothers. So he was and we went to an all boys school. So he really pushed I'm a dude.
Yeah.
But every time there was a pole, not necessarily a pole, like just in a playground, there was a pole, he would put his hand on it and swing around and go, "There's no place to hide when you put your love aside." Oh, no. And it would make me laugh I think about it and I start laughing. So yeah, specifically it transports you. So I'm curious because, like you said, I know when I saw it, I was a kid, and it was like, is this what
high school is going to be like? Am I going to get like tight leather pants and like get like really like one day just like transform and like smoke a cigarette and be like, tell me about it, stud, remember? And then he's like, I'm like, yes, I want that, please.
Yeah. So okay, so that's interesting that you said that, the transform part. What is it about Grease that had that transforming element? Especially at that time of your life.
Well, even look at like Sandy, like she was like this, from Australia, like this really good girl, but then inside one day she's like, I'm changing. And then all of a sudden she was like this badass. Where how much of us, even when we're younger, like you feel like, like something else is available. You're like, wait, I think I'm much greater than like what's actually happening right now, and then it's going to happen in high school. Like I knew it. I was like, I knew
that's what happens.
It's going to happen in high school. And did it? I'm not really sure.
Well, did it?
Well, I mean, I probably would say no, but maybe other people would say something different.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet some people were like, yeah. Well,
yeah.
Wow, I was gonna ask, was high school when your body became ladylike? Or was that an earlier thing?
No, I actually was like, I grew up pretty fast, early.
Okay. So like 12.
Yeah, for sure. Well, even probably before 12. And
right.
I'm pretty tall. Like me in person, I'm actually like 5'9", and I probably was like that legit in the 5'9". Grade. I'm like 5'9".
Yeah, you're a real 5'9". You're the 5'9" that goes, I'm not 5'10".
No, I'm actually 5'9". I might even be like 5'8" and like a little bit, but yeah. No, I'm 5'9".
My sister insists that I'm 5'10". All the time. She's like, you're 5'10", you're 5'10", and then I stand next to women who are, who are like 5'8", 5'9". I'm like, you're my height, if not taller. This can't be right. I really appreciate my sister thinks of me as being a little taller, and that's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Yeah,
So you had like your physical transformation was early. So this was
yeah.
definitely more of a like when I change, uh, it'll be. It was way more of a
Like, what is it?
point of
Like, is
view
it
world
changed?
thing.
Like, we have like I'm like coming out, you know. Like, I know I've always been a type of chameleon
Yeah,
where, like I always had the capacity of like, I had two older brothers, so and they were, my
you're the
oldest was
youngest.
actually 8. Yeah, I'm the baby.
Oh,
Yeah, was like 8 years older than me, so I hung
oh
out with
wow.
men a lot,
Yeah.
and I was always aware of like how to like do like just change, be different, or so I could hang out with the guys, or like I could put heels on and do a dress, or I can go hunting, and
With a bow.
like with a bow,
That's
yeah,
so
and
badass.
it's actually pretty funny. I remember one time we were antelope hunting in Wyoming, and it was
Oh
the
my god.
last day.
So
And I had like prickers in my knees, like I was dirty. I had to hurry up, get back because I had to fly out because I had to go to work with the corporate office the next day. So I literally remember rushing to the bathroom, and the guys are all waiting to take me. And then I come out, a puff of smoke, and now I have like heels, a dress, and like a skirt. I'm like, let's go. And
and were they like, whoa?
it was just like, it was just funny.
That's fantastic. Okay, so is there were there characters, were there moments in Greece that you particularly connected to? Like, what is
All
it
of
about
it.
each of them?
All of it was amazing. Every like, they walk you through like this whole romance. Like it's like a Disney. That's why I said it's like this Disney fantasy of
Right,
like
princess
the
and
the one,
yeah.
and like for me, what's always fun with romance is like like that push and pull, that tug, where like he's like all in and then he's not, and then you're like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, this is so fun. What's happening? And then at the end, then there they are, like they're together, and um, yeah, it was all of it was. It's not like every like this reality's high school dream.
It's you know what when I think of high school, wow, yeah, exactly the fantasy of high school.
The fantasy of high school. I'm
The
not really sure because that didn't
absolutely.
really take place in my high school.
I don't remember that much singing.
I don't
Um,
remember that much. And like nobody, yeah, at lunch, nobody was jumping on the
no,
tables.
no, people were mad at me because I would berate them for not finishing their wings.
Yeah,
That was a thing that happened. So
yeah.
no, it wasn't quite the same. For me, this was my this is the difference between Greece and my high school experience. Junior year, they were building a new wing to the school, uh, and it was fall, so it was starting. It was winter, so it was cold, and so the guys were, they're building the thing. So I sat outside on a bench next to the construction site and was eating lunch out there. And my friend Diana, a dancer friend of mine, she walked up and she was like, "What are you doing? It's freezing." And I was like, "I wanted to feel like a working man."
Yay.
That's how far removed from Greece and the
Yeah,
coolness of the sexiness. Um,
I love it.
yeah, yeah, so that's stupid fun, and yeah, that's actually pretty. So let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Let's go with Star Wars.
Oh
You
gosh.
tell me why that's one of your favorite movies, or what are your three favorites?
Well, yeah, like Star Wars. I remember.
No, I like that you specifically picked A New Hope. Was that is it because it's A New Hope and
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was it called New Hope back
no?
then.
Oh, back in the day, we called it Star Wars, and then like
Now
when
they
they
got like all the Roman numerals. Like
get
I'm
to,
always like now I'm like stopping in my head trying to figure out which one, and then it's like the end is the beginning, right?
right,
Like this is when Star Wars just came out, right?
yeah,
Like and I might be a little bit older, but I was still again like probably in grade school, and
uh
I
huh,
remember being in that screen and that writing started, and
and the
I was
music,
like,
uh huh.
and the technology of it, and you know what, like with Greece, I think that touched on more of your feelings than actually because you could imagine you being in that. But like with Star Wars, it was beyond this reality, And there
Mm.
was so much action. I think it was so different than anything that we've ever seen. It was really just like this monumental amazement show. I mean, like how many words? Like, of course, because there's like a little bit of a love story, but in the beginning, it didn't really happen that way. Like, it built up to that,
Oh
like the
yeah.
princess was, like,
Yeah. Is going to be saved by the prince who just also happens to be her
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Um,
And all the main characters, you had Luke and then you had Han. But I don't really
Obi-Wan.
remember, like, they were really cool, but I think just the overall, I think it was just so different.
Right.
It was just so
What
different. And
was
you can
that the
still watch it and be like, oh, this is so cool. Like with the android, like there's robots and androids, like, and they moved really cool. Like, and yeah, I wonder
so
if my kids would actually think that that was so cool. Like I do now at this point. Probably
I'm
not.
guessing no. Unless they already love Star Wars, then they would probably be like, why is this the like in all of these movies this seems to be like the one from ancient times and the like I love how in the first three movies that's my thing with trilogies where it's like especially sci-fi trilogies where it's like if we're going to go in the past shouldn't it look like the past in that universe like shouldn't the robots be a little slower or
Yeah.
maybe the spaceships should all kind of have the same thing. I mean that's me and my movie nerdness and I get super distracted by that, but I love what you said about being a kid and being transported. I mean,
Yeah.
was that the first time that you really like got a hint of something beyond this reality?
I think so. That's what was actually so exciting about that one, right? Because it wasn't necessarily, like I said, it wasn't like, oh, this romance or blah blah blah. It was just like, wow, something else is possible.
Yeah, and
I knew it. I was like, I knew it.
I sat there the whole time.
Yeah, I know I'm not so crazy.
And they...
There's got to be something else.
Loved it. Loved it. So was there a character that you attached yourself to that you
Well, I think in the beginning, in the very first one, it was like Luke Skywalker was like the man.
yeah,
And
totally.
then,
The
of course,
journey.
there's like Chewbacca. Like, there's just so many
Wait, hold
characters.
on, time out, time out. Most people don't jump from Luke to Chewbacca.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Chewbacca, like, he didn't have to say anything. He was funnier than shit. He was funny. And like, he doesn't even tell jokes.
No, no.
That is superpowers, my
That
friend.
is, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a superpower. Tell me you were not just like, oh, you got what Chewbacca was like, and you're like, oh yeah, what? Yeah. And he was, and then him and Han were like having these conversations.
Right, the whole time. Or you would
He
just
was a
talk to
badass
Chewbacca.
with Chewbacca.
It's funny now that I think about it. Our parents didn't let us have pets because was it my mom or my dad? My mom was traumatized as a kid because in the Philippines the dock workers ate her dog. So no pets for us. So, but basically Chewbacca is like the perfect pet. Like he's your buddy. He goes on this adventure with you. He has like my cat lived till he was 22, and yeah, it was pretty amazing. But
yeah, like Chewbacca just had your back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I gave the job I kept giving my cat was take care of the house and take care of the kids, especially when my nephew basically took him.
Yeah.
And there are all these stories of like him fighting coyotes and like needing to go to the hospital with his guts hanging out. But he absolutely had everyone's back.
Yeah. And that's Chewbacca. So, for me, I was just like, Han Solo, like, I mean, Luke Skywalker was cool and Chewbacca, but like he was super cool in the first one. I think as they went on, as I got older, I actually started liking Han Solo better.
You know what? We all did.
Yeah.
We all did.
Something changed.
Cool
not sure.
As hell.
But
yeah.
But like, and then same thing though, like Han Solo had this, actually he was really being him. Like you get that in that with like the side humor and like this snarkiness and like this, there's this flirtation.
Mm-hmm.
like what I love about that, and I've always talked about this too, is like innuendos are like this, you're saying something but you're not saying anything, like you're hinting around to different possibilities, and like Han was always really good at that.
Well, the flirtation part of it too, of just like kind of teasing, it's interesting. Wow, this is awesome because they're about. I'm actually gonna have to listen. I like how I'm so saying I need to listen to this again, and it usually involves a class. I need to listen to this again because I never thought of flirting as the way you just put it, as like an invitation to possibility.
Yeah.
Like to me, it was like I'm supposed to say so the girl likes me. I'm a little
Oh.
X-Men about it. I'm a little autistic, little autism with that one. Like, why am I saying things? This doesn't make any sense. Why do I have to put it this way? I like tennis. You said you like tennis in your profile. I said let's play tennis, and then you deleted me. Why? You said you like tennis.
Well, there you go. Play with that then.
Yeah, I think I need to.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to this one. This one's okay. I'm so excited to hear about this because the genesis of the podcast is this is my standard conversation starter with anyone.
Yeah.
And more than a few times, I actually think this is the movie that pops up the most, especially with women.
Well, of course. Of course. What do you mean? Like, and I was just like yelling at my mom the other day. I was like, why didn't you take me to some place at 16 so I could have sex with a 40-year-old guy? Yeah, like who? Like, come on, Mom.
That's a strong argument. You should definitely. Everyone should use that.
Yeah, isn't that everyone's dream?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah. And you know what? Really, what else is there to talk about? That was really that. And
oh my god, I really wish that was it. That was the only reason why you love that movie.
And the dancing was hot. Like he was willing like to be so like the sense of like the secret, the dirty dancing. Like that was hot.
That this is forbidden.
That's forbidden. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So clearly, well, not clearly, but it just seems like a stupid question. Did you see the movie through Jennifer Grey's character, through Baby's eyes?
I don't know. Which movie? I didn't hear you.
Oh, like, sorry. What happened? Dirty Dancing.
What about you? I thought you said Jennifer Grey. Did you see her new movie? I was like, wait, what?
Oh no.
Wait, I think
she's great, but
she was a great actor, but I think she got a nose job after, and then it changed her uniqueness, and then she kind of didn't do so well.
Good call. That's actually correct. At least from my point of view, it's also correct. But well, I guess the question I ask, the second question is always like, what is it about certain characters that made you gravitate towards, aside from being a teenager with hormones, and then there's some super fine older person who you're just gonna bang the whole summer? Because that's awesome. Again, even saying it out loud for myself, I'm like, I wish that would happen to me right now. And yes, the age thing still is. I'm looking up Sugar Mama.
Are you asking me, was there something else besides that? Because I'm like,
because if the answer is no, that's okay.
I mean, I probably should have picked like some sophisticated.
No. But see, that's perfect though. That's what makes it awesome. That's awesome because but that's what's really great, because to me that's awesome because when most people bring that movie up, women bring that movie up, there's always the side. They do the thing where they talk about, it's the transformation of becoming a woman. You're standing up to your dad, and like you're asserting yourself of the stuff.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate because it's fucking hot.
It was just hot.
It's just
and there's something about.
Was that the first movie that super crazy turned you on?
I wonder. Maybe. I was just gonna say, because it's really about like the sensualness of like the dance, and like the touching of bodies that really wasn't always about copulation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because that movie, yeah, I was like, the first crush I ever had was Ginger
Yeah.
on of
Gilligan's
of
Island.
Gilligan's Island fame.
World.
Like, here's the crazy part. I remember actually having like a dream when I was a child, like
About
4 or
Ginger.
5, about Ginger, and it was a sex dream.
Well, Ginger like had that flirt, like when I was like the flirtation, the
Yeah,
innuendos, like she had that energy of like Marilyn Monroe,
yeah,
right?
movie
That
star.
real, yeah. So I don't blame you.
Thank you. I'll go tell a 4 or 5-year-old like, hey man, it's cool. You're gonna keep having him. It's gonna get weirder though.
Yeah,
So
good job. Yeah, and you
yeah.
know what? Though, look through time. How many women actually had that, and they were brilliant. Like
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe was brilliant. Um, Ginger, but I mean, does anybody else actually stand out that was really willing to be that much? Like, because that's
Uh
pretty intense.
well, Marilyn Monroe is the absolute number one. I
Yeah,
don't know if you ever saw the movie All About Eve. Did you ever see All About Eve?
I'm not sure.
It was a movie. It's a absolute like it's a movie about a young starlet taking over, kind of taking the place of an older actor in the industry. Um, and it had like, I think it had I you know what? I'm not even gonna guess the other people in the movie because my friends who love that movie are gonna punch me in the face. But the one of the most remarkable parts so this movie, and it's a genuinely brilliant movie, one of the parts of the movie, Marilyn Monroe has like, it's her first movie and she has like a line in it. She's barely in it. She's in it as an extra, basically, a glorified extra. But the thing is that when she pops on the screen, suddenly you're like, oh, okay. What is happening? Who is that? And your eyes just go right to her.
Yeah.
It's happened like there are a couple stars out there. I remember in 10th grade, my high school girlfriend and I at the time went to see The Mask. And
Uh,
I saw Cameron Diaz on screen and would not shut the fuck up about it,
she
which I
was, yeah,
learned
she was
don't.
hot, like in that mask.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I could not understand what was happening to my body in that moment. The last time that happened was oh well.
And then when you say Carmen Diaz, you know who else that I love? Because I'm awful with names and awful with movies, so I'm surprised that you put me on here. Um, Besides that, the lady from South Africa. Oh gosh, she's blonde too.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, she messed me up when she walked onto the screen. It was just like,
she.
what is happening?
Yeah.
And she's
Well,
still like
and she still is gorgeous.
that
You know, when you
that
see her in
Immortal movie.
interviews, it's a very different energy than when she's like playing a part.
Yeah.
And you know, even like when you talk with like when you look not talk with Marilyn Monroe because she's dead, unless you're talking
Unless you're
to
talking to Marilyn
entities,
Monroe.
unless you're talking to Marilyn Monroe. But when you watch her on interviews and like on like side clips of her, she necessarily wasn't always like that, but they were willing to step into and just be in
Oh.
yeah, and energy and what they would do, and it just they were all in, and their energetic like pull was just like
Yeah.
there's like they were sucking everybody in,
Yeah.
even the women, you know, like they just were willing to be. Yeah.
Oh. Oh man, I need to listen to this over and over again. This conversation, I need to listen to this
I'll
more.
have that.
Um, okay, um, so yeah, so let's talk. Well, okay, so the whole point of this podcast for me, and the reason why it is my question that I ask people right away, is because it's my magic trick of basically like, okay, tell me who you are without telling me who you are.
So I
And
just told you all about me with
I
the
mean,
movies I picked.
everything of it.
Everything is about sex.
Well, not everything, but a lot of it is. But in the way that you like, well, first of all, there's a theme of transformation, and there's a theme of like you said, the thing with Star Wars, like there is something else. Like I know I'm a child. I know I'm a, that moment where you're like, there's gotta be more to this. And then, it's funny because for me, it was Star Trek. Like I'm a total Trekkie. I'm a total just
Well, yeah, I think a
super
lot of
nerd
people like you
Trekkie.
like, yeah, yeah, Star Trek or the Star Wars, like all of it was just like there was something going on beyond here, and that was always so
Literally,
cool.
like beyond this atmosphere, beyond
Yeah.
there's, and it's a, and yeah, the, you know,
And
I
then
think
you
one
had
of,
superpowers of some sort. A lot of them did.
yeah, yeah. Well, my last guest was one of my best friends from high school, and he loved all the Star Wars movies,
Mm.
but he specifically picked Episode 3, the one where
Oh.
Anakin turns into Darth Vader.
Oh.
The one before, well, not the one before this one.
Is it Return of the Jedi?
No. Jedi is 6.
Oh, geez. I forgot it backwards. I am
So
dyslexic, so you know.
that's okay. It's okay. It doesn't help us. But his whole point was that the third one to him did the most, like it encompassed everything he loves about Star Wars, which was the Force. His particular character that he attached to is Obi-Wan, because he was wise, and even as he was like kicking Anakin Skywalker's ass on the lava pit. I never saw it. I tried to watch it for the podcast and I fell asleep twice. Which he laughed. But yeah, just that like moment, you know, with that like, well, that he was this wise person, and he was like aware, and he was at his full Force powers. He talked about having the Force powers, and like being I mean, I remember being a kid and being like, wait, there's this energy thing. Like it really was the very first time I was introduced to even the concept of there being not just a thing that you couldn't see, but it's something that you're a part of, and that you can, you know,
Yeah,
you could actually use to create and kill and do a bunch of stuff with. You know, sounds kind
you're
of
like,
familiar.
kill.
Well, we did talk about that. And then with Grease, like there is that like, well, it's just, it's funny. I try to go with the format, and that's it. I got to come up with what's coming up. When I met you, there was a fierceness to you.
Oh.
Yeah, like this total. There's a badassness to you, and at the same time, you have this kindness, you have this openness, and a softness, and it's so easy to be around, and it's so like. And it's interesting because you are one of the women who that in my life that I know that has the capacity to sexually intimidate like a motherfucker, but it's almost like you know how to use it. Does that make sense?
You know what the most intimidating thing though in life is, Mikey, is when you're willing to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're showing up, you know, the energy is there for either people, then for you to show up, or for you to be like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. You know,
yeah.
Sorry for cussing on your podcast.
I've dropped a bunch of F-bombs.
But, you know, like, so, because when people like really are just very present with you, it does seem like intense and different. And, you know, I'm always asking actually for more of that myself. Right. I'm always like, really? I'm not, you know, like, I mean, let's turn it up. Like, how much more? You know, like that. Like, I even here at 3:00 my time, I have a relationship done different, like with bodies. And that's what I was telling you. It just showed up really easy, and all these people come, and then I had this computer issue. So thank God for Mikey, because I didn't know I had a computer issue until I tried to get on with Mikey. But you know, when you're always searching and you're always playing and you're always asking, and just for for more, and maybe that's intimidating.
I think it is in this reality, where people just want to reach a baseline. They want to hit these targets, and then they hit them, and then life is set. And for someone to keep asking, I'd like more, and I'd like more, and then you take it a step further. I want more of me.
More of me, yeah.
I mean, that's really
more
intense.
like this co-creation with my body, even.
Yes.
And that's not even like about oh wow, like my body is amazing or my body's not amazing, but it's really like this hi body, and then when you're showing up, and it's actually like the Force.
Yeah. The Force of Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's just like a soup. We'll add, like, I'm adding like a little bit of secret sauce.
No, I'm telling you, this is it's really funny because like there is that was the theme, is this like just the awareness you got when you saw those movies, and it's still going, like, yeah, that shit was hot, like, it was hot in a way that isn't like, this is one of those things that I'm like, I don't think that I should talk to other dudes about sex because this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's actually taken me this long to realize that my point of view of sexualness and sex is just so fucking different than most guys. Like, that's basically the thing, where it's like, you know, when it's like, oh yeah, she's so hot, and I was like, yeah, she's fine, but it's ice cold. Like, there's no, like, you really think you could say a couple things to her in this
She's
situation?
Not ginger.
She's just,
that girl is not ginger.
Fine. Fine. 5-year-old Mikey was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
She might have been the origin of my redhead thing. Man, I gotta listen to this podcast a few times.
This has been so fun.
Thank you. This has been so great. Yeah,
you're such a gift, Mikey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll smile and receive that. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing a thing just as an exercise, and it's so funny. You really just kept popping in the last like 3 weeks. It's like, just ask Becky to be on. Just ask Becky to be on.
Thank you for asking me. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and what I loved is that you were one of the 3 movie, like, there are 2 reactions to these are my 3 favorite movies. Number 1, which is the overwhelming favorite, with a bullet. Oh, 3? Can I get back to you? I gotta really But then my favorite one is, it's Grease, Dirty Dancing, and Star Wars. I'm like, oh, okay, let's talk. Let's go. So that was quite a gift. But yeah, this has been great because it's I have been, just like you said, the stepping into more of me, and it definitely does not look anything the way that I thought. And like, it's yesterday I had a gig in Orange County, and it was an afternoon gig, so I basically spent the rest of the day just driving to different places in Orange County looking for gigs. And I'm so used to pre-COVID being like, walking up to the person who books the gig, and they're like, yeah, thanks for your card. We'll get in touch with you. And so, but whatever I've been doing and whatever I've been being since COVID started, I'd walk up and they'd be like, oh yeah, let me get your card. And like,
oh, that's awesome.
They give me that look of like,
yeah.
So it's just showing up very differently. And thank you for the acknowledgement. And yeah, you talking about, this has just been great. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to have me come back on.
Yeah, for 3 more movies.
I'll pick 3 more, and they're gonna come back
special.
I'm gonna like Google like really smart movies because I actually don't even know, but I'm gonna like, what would a really smart person watch? I'm like gonna Google that.
You could check out some of my previous episodes.
I will.
There's some really, really good ones, but I love this because it's so real. It's so you. It's so you. These movies are so you. It's fucking great.
Well, like, I'm all about fun.
Yes.
And literally, like, and it's funny, but it's actually true. Like, that's my demand. Like, you know what? If it's not fun, I'm not doing it.
I've seen you. We're in a group of people and we're talking, and the moment the energy shifts, it's not fun. I've seen you like completely lose interest and leave.
Thanks a lot, Mikey.
And I would go, oh, good call. I wish I could do that.
Ooh, I gotta go to the bathroom.
I know. Ooh, excuse me for a moment. And then you just literally walk 5 feet away. You didn't do that, but I wish you did.
Yeah, but like, really, truly, what if you could have your own back with that? And yes. I think if anything, like with COVID and anything, is like, everyone's like, oh, someday I'm going to do this. Someday I'm going to do that. Well, guess what? I mean, there might not be a someday. Like, if you do it, like, let's do it now.
What?
Yeah.
No, I love it. Oh, right to the end. You're killing it.
I love it.
Popping it. All right, I'll leave you be so you can go crush it.
I know. I got to hop in my body class.
No, I love it. I mean, that's so funny. It's so funny that, like, I'm just thinking of the conversation of like, wait, Becky's doing a body class? Click.
Why aren't you on my body class? Thanks a lot.
Well, that's another thing I discovered this year. I was like, wait, I could actually choose?
Oh, you're the best.
I love you. Thank you so much, Becky. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, have a great class.
I will.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Your 3 favorite movies, brought to you by me. I'm your host, Michael Talara. Thank you so much for listening. Please check us out on all the social medias. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to the podcast and please tell a friend. That would be a really cool thing. Thank you so much again. Hope to catch you on the next one.